What's up, guys?
What's poppin',
We are
Mr.
coming to
Ramsey?
you live from various parts of Tallahassee, Florida for our first pro event of the year, Combat Night Pro Tallahassee, where it all began. And we've got a fantastic card on deck for our fans this weekend, whether you are here in person, which is the real treat, or catching us on the pay-per-view tomorrow night. Like I said, we got a fire lineup coming up, including a lightweight title bout between our defending champ Angel Mercado and Keith Speed. About that looks to be fantastic as well at welterweight, Nick McCarty and Lindsey Jones, and a very exciting featherweight bout between Romello Union, David Macias, and then on our undercard we have Ulysses Moore versus Javier Martinez. Javier, former light heavyweight champ and heavyweight champ, making his middleweight debut here in Tallahassee. So, without any further ado, let's get to talking about some of these fights. I'm joined by my co-commentator, Coach Ben. What's up, man?
What's going on, Ramsey? How are you tonight, buddy?
Doing good. We had good weigh-ins.
Yeah, man, everything went smooth. No one fussed too much. It was good.
Yeah. As things go, some bouts that we may have announced, aren't happening, but hey, this is the fight game. Things happen, and we expect nothing but fantasticness from the guys that are putting on tomorrow. So let's just start it at the top.
Honestly, the card is so stacked. It's a bummer that we lost a couple of them, but this card holds up top to bottom.
Yeah, let me get my little picture up to show the folks. We're going to talk about our main event of the evening, Angel Mercado versus Keith Speed. Angel Mercado, the defending champion. Keith Speed, the consummate spoiler.
It's true. I think Keith is undefeated in Combat Night bouts.
Yeah, as a pro, he's undefeated with us.
Yeah, he's upset the hometown guy on multiple occasions, and he's been the underdog in most of these. So it's cool to see him get in like a headline spot.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about them. I need to see this other screen too. Yeah, Keith Speed out of American Top Team. Coming off of, let me see. Yeah,
so
he just
most
won.
Recently, he has a win over Cedric Lassant back in October.
Picked up a split decision win over him. Hard fought contest. That was a good fight.
Yeah, Cedric was there, but he seemed to be just like a beat behind Keith. Keith is the veteran here. He's got, as a professional, 15 fights. Like that's a ton of experience, to this type of scene. Angel is the champ. Angel has a much more decorated record, but, he's got a third of the experience, as a Speed. And I think Speed is going to try to take that national experience and bring it in and kind of show Angel their levels to this.
Yeah, and Angel's looking to, punch through and see if he can take it to the next level. So this is a big fight, fighting a guy more, with more experience, but nonetheless, picking up a win like this over a seasoned guy like Keith Speed could be just the type of attention he needs to get that look.
Yeah. If Angel wants to make a statement, he has to finish. And if I remember correctly, I don't think Speed has been finished very often. Yeah, he's lost 2 times by finish in 15, 16 fights. So that's a hard job to succeed on. But if Angel wants, it's what he's going to have to do.
And Speed has come in on multiple events and sniped some up and coming guys that were either very decorated amateurs or, a few fight pros. This is going back even a couple of years, and taken out. I don't know that they were the favorite because he's had the edge of experience, but they were more like quote unquote like combat night favorites, and he was like coming in and stealing a scalp. So
yeah, they wanted to test the waters, and they picked like a dangerous bet. Speed lives up to his hype. He lives up to his name. That boy is fast. He's extremely explosive. He's going to fit into spots that other guys can't get into because of how athletic and explosive he is. And man, he packs a punch. I worked with Speed for at least 7 of his fights, and man, he's a consummate professional. He's constantly training. He never has off. He's always in shape. I think he's a little more dynamic than Angel, but Angel has also only showed what he's need to show. He's got a really stiff jab, laser sharp. His right hand has finishing power all over it, but he really does wait until he knows he's going to land to fire off. He has no problem being cautious, kind of hanging back in the cut and working for his moment. But when Angel executes, he typically executes with ferocity. And if he can touch with that, but he's going to have to be able to catch a fast guy like Speed to do so.
And I feel like Speed was coming in to this fight looking even in better shape than the last one. He was looking a little bit thicker in his last fight, but he was looking pretty trim at weigh-ins today. So
yeah,
looking forward to seeing those guys get after it.
He feel his very best that last time. I'm happy to see that he's tightened it up on this one.
And our co-main event, they had a really nice guy, Lindsey Jones and Nick McCarty. Nick McCarty really.
I tried to nickname him the Georgia Peach when he first moved down here, and he was like, "Yo, that's kind of soft, man." And I was like, "Yeah, but all the dudes with soft nicknames are badass, like Frank Trigg and stuff, And he just wasn't going for it. He wasn't having it. He stayed with Sweet Tea.
They had a really nice guy face off, very gentlemanly, and I couldn't hear what they were saying. There was quite a lot of chatter between them, but Mitchell said that they were just talking about tea, and
yeah,
I think
we're talking about matcha. How tough guy crap is that?
I think Nick did say sweet tea was no good for him.
Firstly, how dare you? Sweet tea is no good. Man, hey, you've never had barbecue, bro? Get out of here.
Nick's on quite a run. He's at 5-1 right now. Lindsey Jones coming in 6-2. Nick's put together some impressive performances over his last few fights, and I think Sweet Tea coming down to stop that run.
Nick is on a run. Yeah, Nick is on a 5-fight run, and there's some names that we know on here. He's definitely been building his record. Not to say that Lindsey hasn't. Early to take fights that will steer you in the direction of success, and both of these guys have taken advantage of that. But I just believe Lindsey has a deeper talent pool to deal with down at American Top Team headquarters. Not a knock on Fusion. Fusion is an absolutely awesome gym, but it seems where Nick is strong, Lindsey would still have the advantage. Lindsey has a very, very strong wrestling pedigree coming up in making Georgia MMA guys before transferring down to ATT headquarters, where he spent multiple years, and then transferring back to Atlanta to be closer to family. And I believe training at the Lima's gym, splitting time at Rush and with Jucao in Atlanta. So he has the opportunity to get so many looks from so many different world-class guys all at once across, different styles and different structures. And yes, he has 8 fights, but when you got that kind of camp around you, it's gonna give you more with less time. Now, when we talk about McCarty coming out of Fusion is a fantastic gym in Orlando. They are the home base of MMA in Orlando. If you're not familiar, teams from all over the city and even outside of it go out of their way to travel in to cross-train with Fusion because they produce very good fighters. But Nick fancies himself a jiu-jitsu guy, where Lindsey Jones is a pedigreed wrestler. Jiu-jitsu guy, get the wrestler down to do jiu-jitsu. Or is Lindsey going to be able to stuff those attempts using his pedigree and then in turn forcing the fight into a striking battle? Or will Lindsey take him down and do his best to play like that wrestler ground and pound game, working upper body safe submissions?
Yeah, I feel like during this run, Nick's put together a couple of knockout finishes. So, despite fancying himself a jiu-jitsu guy, his striking has been up to the task.
Yeah, he knocked out Brian Top in about 1:15 of the first round. And Top's not a slouch. That boy can wrestle his ass off. I don't remember watching that one. I don't know if he caught him on the shot or on the way in, or if he could just in turn stifle Top's wrestling so that he could then execute his strikes. But shoot, I don't know. This one's so close. We got 5 guys, similar records, similar kind of histories, and both coming from world-class camps with multiple fighters in the UFC presently. So, you got to figure both of them are going to come strapped and locked in.
Yeah, for sure. And another feature bout on this card is David Macias and Romello Union. Both of them coming in 1-0 pros. Romello had a fantastic pro debut, hard-fought contest, did the thing. And let me pull up their face-off. Romello's always, bringing a little bit of extra panache.
Man, Romello
to the face-offs.
He shows up to weigh-in. Looking good, bro. I'm not totally sure what outfit this one is or where it comes from, but he came correct on this one.
Yeah, I think last time he came as he had on like some knight armor or something to that effect. This time he shows up with the Indian, and he was playing his own little tunes when he was walking out. So there's different facets of this game that not only involve the fighting skill, and obviously the first thing on the docket is to win, but whenever you can bring some extra flavor and character to the weigh-ins and to the bout, that's how you start garnering that fan base.
In an event like Combat Night, which has such a strong social media presence, if you are looking to get eyeballs on you, if you're looking to get clout, make a statement. Be present. You gotta be willing to bet on yourself a little bit and go over the top like Mr. Union is willing to do, so that when you do find success, there's something more to blow up about. The fight is super important, and the most important thing, but there's 30 fights on the card.
Yeah, how are you going to stand out?
How are you going to stand out? When you come out in a full Indian headdress, face paint, you're doing the whole show, people are going, yo, who's that? That's what's going to get them to stick in. That's what's going to get you to stick in their mind.
I see. His opponent, David Macias, said his fighting, he's out of Gracie Pack MMA. He says his fighting style is kicks and jits. It's a great combination. I think, pretty sure he's making his Combat Night debut.
I believe so. I was just looking at his thing.
And
yeah,
moving.
He's mostly fought in the West Coast and 1 or 2 Central Florida shows. So he's finally made his way up to the big leagues. He's got to test out the waters. He's a hot product from elsewhere, and he's got to see. We got to see what he's bringing to the table. As we know, Combat Night is the premier, not the entire Southeast.
And Romello's an exciting fighter, so that's a bout I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, man. I remember him. He came out like a ball of fire against Tovar. He looked great.
All right, let's do this. And then Thorne versus Sham Delva.
Yes, sir. Delva's been off for about a year. He fought in November of 23 last.
You want to jump on?
Gotta go to the airport and pick homeboy up.
Talking to the man, Richard Cox, popping in.
So
still on the clock.
Always.
Oh,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
No, Sham's been out for a year. He's been chomping at the bit to get back to competition. Finally, we got a good matchup versus Thorne. He's such a hard name for you guys to commentate. Thorne. Tongue twisting it up. I'm glad I'm not working that one. But Thorne has a power style, right? He's the shorter man. He's shorter on reach. He has a very simple strike set. He likes to throw big to close off distance, press his opponent into the fence, get a takedown, keeping that upper body chest pressure, and hunts the katagatame. If you look at his record, his last 3 wins, he's 3-0 as a pro, all have been by head and arm triangle. It's what he goes for. He's pretty well built. He's got good shoulders. Obviously, he's comfortable attacking it. In his last fight with Marcellus Wallace, every single time they hit the floor, if he got a crossface, he just hung on to it. Nothing else mattered. He's just wiggling and working into that choke. However, Sham Delva has a reasonable amount of reach here. Thorne made the assessment that his opponent, or Sham, is going to kind of play on the outside and try to play keep away. And that is a good game plan for a guy who rushes forward. But even if Thorne gets Sham to the cage, though Sham is a lanky guy, he is freakishly powerful and freakishly athletic. He is going to be extremely difficult to take down. And while in there, he's got to worry about Sham's elbows, hammer fists, and his counter throws. I think Thorne is, if you look at his past, has kind of one direction and take. But if Sham can shut down that path, does he have a secondary or a third option to go with? I know Sham can finish via submission, ground and pound, knockout, etc., as he's done these all throughout his pro and amateur career of something like, I think a total of like almost 20-something fights. So obviously I'm a little biased as I'm Sham's coach, but this is my call for fight of the night. It might not be the most fireworks, but it should be the most complete.
Sorry, I'm juggling just a little bit.
All good, man.
All right, then we got the always exciting Tristan McGraw, quick draw McGraw, making his with his third pro fight in the Combatagon, facing a debuter in Irvin Enriquez. And Tristan,
man, Enriquez is making his pro debut here. He's coming out of combat night in Boynton, and he has some really good wins. He's got a win over Avery Mushler, who is one of our amateur champions, and that is not an easy thing to do. So that tells you the kind of level we're dealing with. He's bringing a lot into this match. I'm excited to see it. I haven't seen him. But when you're looking at this kind of guy making a debut here, I'm excited for what we're going to run into. Whereas McGraw, definitely more seasoned here. He's got 2 professional fights and a gang of amateurs, both in Muay Thai and MMA, well over 10 fights. So experience edge, you got to go with McGraw, and he is known for getting after it.
Yeah.
They call him quick.
Yeah, Tristan has some precision striking and has consistently looked better and better and better. And despite losing his last fight, it was it was a banger, and I think he was getting the better of his opponent, until he wasn't. But Tristan,
isn't that how it goes?
Tristan always looks good, and like I said, he's been looking better and better. So I would expect him to come out and do that thing that he's known for doing, which is throwing them tassos
Letting
with
them hands fly.
laser precision.
And what good hair.
Might have it braided. All right, yeah, this was.
Oh, this one's going to be great. Kevin Hine, the reigning defending light heavyweight amateur champion, making his professional debut against 1-0 Philip Jackson.
Yeah, so
firstly, I don't know why Jackson got in his draws for the promotional weigh-in. You already did that. Keep your pants on.
I think there was some little mind games getting played.
Facebook, maybe he just wanted to show Kevin what he was packing. That's what I think. Kevin might be the most intense guy I've ever seen at a Combat Night weigh-in. He's furious, breathing heavy, blowing the spit out the sides of his mouth. He's never had a quiet weigh-in, just screaming. I think this time he gave out a massive caw. Caw!
It's his Baggy scream.
What the hell just going on? It's a hell of a scream.
Yeah, so he comes out with a lot of intensity, and
holy shit, does he ever?
So I think that was the play by PJ. He was like, "Oh, let me slow stroll this and make him maintain all that intensity for longer." So he was like he went all the way down. He was like taking off his socks and every little piece, and then
he took his time.
And then they had a good intense face off. And so
you gonna wait on me.
PJ fought for us a few times as an amateur, as a light heavyweight and as a heavyweight, and so he's got quite a bit of boxing under his belt. And I don't want to misquote, but I know that his father was also a boxer, and he had some pretty high level, significant bouts. So he's got some pedigree. I think he took some time off from MMA to do some pro wrestling.
That's cool. Man, but Hine doesn't really mess with the striking. Right to it. He wants to grapple, and he wants to grapple now. The question is, can PJ stop the takedown? Because he is coming in on fire when that bell rings. Hine wastes no time. He ain't feeling it out. I don't think I remember seeing him touch gloves. When that bell rings, he is all go.
Yeah, he was all gas, no brakes.
Facts.
Let me pull that down for a second. I think let me pull it up. I think I have the video of their face off handy.
Man, this is going to take 7 minutes. Jackson was straight up lazily getting dressed, getting ready. You could see Kevin Hine chewing on his own face, just gnashing his teeth. Just, come on, let's go.
Let's see, here we go.
Oh, hey. If you guys aren't following Combat Night on Instagram, go check us out, Combat Night MMA. You can see content like what we're showing you now and so much more. You'll be able to catch up on some of those popular memes and MMA content available today outside of the UFC. Combat Night. Follow us on Instagram. Man, you also see that wedgie PJ got? Man, you can't be walking out there with a wedgie like that, bro. It reminds me of like the girls you see at the gym wearing them legging tights that be all up in the booty. Don't do that, bro. Don't
They
do
call that being cheeked up, caked up.
Man, all cheeked up. Double cheeked up on a Thursday.
And let's jump on over to that. Oh, no. We wanted to talk about Luis Perez, Matt Knaus. Luis Perez picking up this fight on super short notice. And he is.
Oh,
He's
Perez? Oh, what a savage.
definitely one of my
Dude, Perez,
favorites. So entertaining. He stays in the YouTube
he
comments.
took this yesterday, right? I'm
Yes.
surprised he's not on here right now, to be honest. He stays talking shit.
That's a fact. And
For real. Fantastic amateur record. He's set. What is he? 7-2 as an amateur.
yeah, this is his pro debut.
He took an L in one of his last fights, but he fought the #1 amateur in the country and was competitive.
Yeah, for
You know
sure.
what I mean? If you gotta test yourself before going pro, you gotta be willing to tarnish that record. Granted, time and place, you shouldn't be doing it 2 fights in or anything. He had literally liquefied the best competition in Florida. You know, when he was defending his title before his fight with Brock, dude, he finished in 45 seconds against a veteran opponent that was on a hot streak. Smoked him, made him look silly. You know, and now here he is as a pro, takes a fight on 24 hours notice. He actually told us he had to quit his job to take the fight because they wouldn't give him the time. Someone who has that much self-belief is a dangerous person no matter what. And then you put his level of skill on top of it. Bro, Luis Perez is a problem. I'm glad he's from Florida. He makes the whole state look good because he is a fucking killer.
Yeah, he is, and he's about that life, and
Big
that's
time. He wants to fight everybody, dude. Look at this video in the comments. If he's not already here, go look at our last one. He just, this guy's a pussy. This guy's a bitch. I'll fight him. I'll fight him. I fight both of them in the same night. I'll put them by name. I'll tag them in the comments.
Yes.
He is a G.
I'll fight their daddy. Oh.
Yeah, he would. What's up, Quasar? Thanks for saying hi.
So let's jump on over to that amateur portion of our under. Yeah.
I just want to jump on this. Since we're talking about the amateurs, clip of Micah Purdue that went out today.
Say again?
Do you know which clip I'm talking about? Micah Purdue?
Yeah.
So,
are you asking if I have that?
Micah Purdue. Yeah, do you have that clip?
Let me see, I can get it.
So this kid got hit in the face with a golf ball at like a top shot kind of, and caved his skull in, like when Cyborg got kneed by MVP. I was talking with him at the weigh-ins. He said they had to cut his head open here. They scalped him. He shows the picture in the reel. They scalped him so they could fix his skull and put a metal plate in and then reattached his scalp. Bro. And he's out here fighting with a plate in his skull. Which people out there begs to question, how effective is a metal plate as a weapon, given the Lex Luger steel forearm smash was such an effective finisher back in the WCW days? Can you put volume on this so people can hear it? This is insane.
Can you not hear it?
Head. Look at that. I can't hear it. Dude, that's his head. You got speculums in there just stretching his shit out. Son, are you kidding? Damn. And here's the other thing. How is he still more handsome than me? What kind of bullshit is that, Ramsey? I'm not feeling it, bro. That's just whack.
And that I remember that fight was like not long before, or excuse me, that event was not long before a fight. That was like maybe 2 or 3 weeks out from a fight, and we got a call, and he was like,
he still
"Oh,
fought.
no, he couldn't take the fight," and we're like, "What happened?" He's like, "Apparently, he got hit in the head with a golf ball, and it like crushed his skull." And I was like, "What?" Yeah,
It's like this is a story that we can check up on. Like, what, dude?
We can confirm this.
Good Lord.
Our undercard main event, Ulysses Moore versus Javier Martinez. And whenever I just cracked the door a second ago, I looked in there, and Javier Martinez is sitting in the room next to me right now.
You better say nice things about him, or he's going to come in and see you.
So Javier Martinez, always a crowd favorite, always puts on exciting fights. Had an unfortunate turn in his last bout against Kevin Hine, where Kevin Hine came out like a freight train, and
Bat out of hell,
it was just, yeah. But nevertheless,
mm-hmm.
Javier Martinez has fought guys much larger than him, making his debut here at middleweight. So we're going to see
kicked them all in the head too.
Yeah, kicked them all in the head. I don't know if he's still going to be able to carry the Kung Fu Panda moniker with if he keeps on dropping the LBs.
I was a gentleman who worked my way down from super heavyweight to middleweight. Your body just sits a little soft when you like that. It takes like surgery or skin reduction to really, get her moving.
But
I gotta say, Javier has the more decorated record here. He's fought more tougher guys, and Javier is ranked 9th in the state at this weight, or at his weight. There's a reason for that. He's fought a bunch of tough guys. He has beaten a bunch of tough guys. And more importantly, I believe he's finished the majority of them. Getting a dub is one thing, but if you are finishing like hard competition, that's what really puts you in place. Of his 6 wins, he's even down the line. 2 KO TKOs, 2 submissions, 2 decisions. So he can take striking, grappling, and if he's got to grind it out for a decision, which is a really cool thing to see nowadays. Because so many guys just focus on one thing, which is typically striking at this point in time.
Yeah, and he's fighting a pretty dynamic guy in Ulysses Moore, who actually in his last Combaticon appearance, he had some bad blood with his opponent that he carried through the bout. There was not that same energy here today at the face-offs.
How can you not like Javier Martinez? He's just a friendly dude. He's easy to get along with.
Yes. And I know he's been training his tail off in this camp. I popped up to Georgia earlier this week and checked those guys out up there training with Richard Cox at Team Reality up in Moultrie. And I just, it's a fight week practice, so it wasn't like the crazy stuff, but I just saw those guys, getting some conditioning in, getting some pad rounds, and, breaking a sweat. It was cool to go up there and see them on a piece of their camp. Oh, Ulysses Moore popped in the chat. Said he's also ranked 9th and have only won by finish.
Yeah, I didn't get the chance to go over the fact that you only won by finish. On here, I can only say what's on the computer in front of me. So I just went with what I'm reading in terms of the rankings. But if fought in Jacksonville not long ago last year and absolutely liquefied, I believe it was Stuart Maddox. Like, towards the end of the first, they had a good going back and forth, And when he caught that boy, he crumpled.
Mhm.
It was a brutal knockout. Man, Ulysses has that finishing power in his hands on all levels. Because again, Javier has the same. Javier likes to throw them things too.
Yeah, that should be a super exciting fight to watch. I'm really looking forward to that one.
Hell yeah.
And Ulysses, what is that mask? I see you still in the comments. What is that mask that you wear? And you had some type of sound making apparatus that kicked out like some crazy sound whenever you stepped up into his face.
Is that the mask of the little people from Tatooine? You know,
The sand people? That's what it looks
yeah,
like.
kinda.
But it's, I
Come on,
don't know, it's
Ulysses, you're in here,
something.
bro. Let's go. What's the answer? These segments have time limits, bro.
Let me pull this down.
Do you think we can get any of these guys on the line with us?
Yeah, we could.
You know, I would. You know what I'm really looking forward to, and for no apparent reason, it's inspired by the Dan people. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So not an
Oh,
homage to
fun
Star
fact.
Wars.
Yeah. Well, he mentions here that the Sand people on Tatooine were also inspired by the Dan people
Oh,
from Africa.
okay. Okay.
So there's your similarities. Fun facts with Ulysses.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, if any of you guys are watching this stream and if you want to jump on and chat with us about your bout tomorrow, we would love to have you on. Shoot me a message on Instagram at ramsey.white, and I will shoot you the link so you can join this call. But I will request that you have some headphones in so we don't have all of the ambient audio around you. It's called a trumpet mask. Leads the men into the war. The sound was an Aztec death whistle. I just wanted a cool noise. Very cool.
Can't blame you for that. So can we talk about the overcard of the undercard here? The most important bout that I have seen in some time, the Battle of the Williams. We have debuting at 155 Sean Williams, coming up against also debuting Aries Williams. Winner gets to keep their last name. Loser has to change it. That's the stipulation I've just created. I'm just saying. I think it'll just spice things up a little bit.
I've heard some of those before. We've had a couple last name bouts.
Man, if we can get DraftKings involved, the Battle of the Williams is who will lose their name? Forget the O. Your last name has got to go. I want to give a shout out to. So there's a guy that I had rapped, I want to say in Jacksonville early last year, Jamie Navarrete. So he had an amazing showing in his last bout. Not like choked his opponent completely unconscious in 1 minute and 7 seconds of the first round. But in setting that up, absolutely destroyed his hand. He did a really good job about keeping the public informed on the progress. Bro, that thing was there's pins going in through his knuckles, sticking out like an inch and a half.
Who was
He
this?
had to the bone. Jamie Navarrete. He's one of our undercard amateur bouts.
Oh, right, Jaime.
Yeah, and And even with that broken hand, he still managed to catch his opponent in one of the deepest rear naked chokes I'd ever seen. And props to his opponent, didn't tap, and he just let him go. And this boy slumped like a wet blanket into the nothing. Really aggressive striking, really hard hitter, and a really solid squeeze on him. I'm stoked to see what he's going to bring to the table this weekend.
So he had an opponent change, and he switched to a kickboxing bout versus an MMA bout that he was preparing for against Hung Vu, who is stepping up in weight a little bit to make this bout happen, making his debut.
Man, a lot of big balls on Brad this card. We got a bunch of people stepping up short notice. The brass to like you, being there to save a fight, but always a dangerous endeavor. You know, God forbid you weren't training regularly beforehand.
So yeah, we got 20 bouts on deck for our event tomorrow.
Should make
It's
for a
11.
quick night, no big deal.
Hey, you know, 20 is something light for us. That's not a long night.
Yeah. That drive home's pretty long though.
Yes, it is. I'll make it on Sunday, not Saturday night.
Yeah. I'm gonna wake up early and head on back. Dude, I was surprised. I made that 6-hour drive, no pee breaks. Even at 42, that prostate is still doing all right. What's up?
All right, well, I think we touched on the ones that we wanted to.
Now, let me ask you, is there a particular fight that you, Mr. Ramsey, are looking forward to? You know, you're a connoisseur of the scene. You know, you're part of the most illustrious combat show in the Southeast. We have a lot of returning faces, returning names. There's got to be someone that you've either met, watched, run into that maybe isn't getting the attention of the high of the top of the card, but is someone that has caught your eye to like as a fighter to watch.
So, you know, I think that we actually touched on them. I think Luis Perez is, you know, he gets plenty of attention, but his addition to the card was a nice extra dash of spice, considering that, you know, we had lost some fights that, you know, I was really looking forward to seeing Apple Pie compete. And with his fight falling through, it's like, oh man, everybody loves watching Apple Pie. He's always a crowd favorite, and he always puts on a show.
Apple Pie brings it.
Yes. So in lieu of not being able to see him compete, Luis Perez getting added to the card, I think was makes for exciting MMA. And you know, I think Philip Jackson versus Kevin Hine. I think as he hasn't competed with us since he was an amateur, and you know, he's taken a pro fight, and I think a couple of other amateur fights since then. I think that is going to be one of the fights to really watch out for, because with that style that Kevin Hine has, like being the steamroller, I think you know, fair play. He's do your thing. I think he's just gonna you know, maybe meet a level of resistance that you know, might not be expected, because PJ is he's a brick wall.
Yeah, like Hine isn't really setting up his entrances or anything. He just runs right into his takedown. So if Jackson can catch him on the entrance outside, like every time he level changes, follow the hips, stick him with a jab or something, and use that boxing pedigree to his advantage, that could really stifle Hine, because he's got to get his hands on him to force
Well, you know,
a wrestling exchange.
Well, and you know, it's not that PJ's no slouch at wrestling. He took, like I said, a foray into the pro wrestling arena, so he definitely has some good footwork and athleticism in the wrestling department as well.
Oh,
so
for sure. But if your opponent is better than you in that area, or that's their specialty, and you can just shut the door on that, that's going to put you so far. It doesn't mean Hine can't throw hands. It doesn't mean Hine doesn't have the possibility of landing on the jaw and knocking him out. But his chances are just that much better if he can put PJ on his butt.
And I'm not sure that we mentioned the Javante Yarborough versus Leonardo Figueroa. That's another bout that's going to be, I think, pretty exciting. Leonardo out of Gracie Baja and Javante out of CTC in Savannah, Georgia. I know that CTC always has very well-rounded, hard training guys that come out of there. He's coming in 4-2 as an amateur, and Leonardo Figueroa has put on some exciting bouts with us as well. Has a karate style. I think that's going to be I think that's one maybe Mitchell called as to watch out for fight of the night possibility. So,
and a guy with a karate style, especially if they space and generate that explosive speed that like a Stephen Wonderboy Thompson or an MVP is known for, especially with their longer kicks to keeping guys at range, it's going to be super beneficial to them because they compete at that longer range. It gives them the opportunity to kind of give one shot and move, or kind of blitz and cut out, versus like that MMA style, which is a little more prodding, paced, pressure, explode, reset. If you can, they're initiating the movement and you can throw one of those long kicks up or land in their ribs or catch them under you're going to do massive damage because your outgoing meets their incoming, and it's a massive impact. So I believe the speed of entrance, or the ability to create a little extra space and attack on the way in would have to be a key for him to being successful. Use that karate background, use that quick blitz, and that quick dodge afterwards might be exactly what the doctor ordered to put the dub on his plate.
What about you? Is there any fight you are particularly excited about?
Man, I'm lucky in this one. We covered the fights that impact me most. Sham Delva making his comeback after a year. He was on that prospect run. Then he ran into the champ, Angel Mercado, and had a bad go of it, taking his first professional loss. Real moment. This is going to tell you what will be in Sham's future. Is he able to bounce back from that loss like he did in his amateur career? He took a couple losses in his amateur career, and towards the end, man, he was just on a run.
Mm-hmm.
Can he take the lesson he learned last time and apply it here and get back on the track he was on? Thorne is no chump. He is undefeated for a reason. He is a big, strong dude, and he is not scared to let them shits fly. Coming off the L, see that in front of him. See a confident guy on a winning streak who wants to come for him. Can he see that in front of him, keep his cool, keep his composure, and execute as he knows he can? That is probably my most invested fight, but of course that is also my fighter.
Sure.
Speed versus Mercado is another one. Again, I spent a lot of time with Mr. Speed. I know what he's capable of, and journeyman's record. His man is very talented. You should see him in the training room as a regular partner of Edson Barbosa and Moicano and all these other guys that when you watch them on TV, you're like, what the fuck? These guys search Keith out as a partner because of how good he is. How that translates to fight night will be seen, but he is a crafty veteran with a wealth of experience and speed way faster than most people in his weight class. Yet again, shock the world and give Angel one hell of a fight, if not his second defeat.
All right. You'll find out tomorrow at Combat Night Pro Tallahassee. So for you're checking this out, and Saturday, February 8th has not passed yet. Check us out on our pay-per-view, which you can find at www.combatnight.com. Follow us on Instagram, and you will see updates and highlights throughout the night. And obviously, if you're watching this, follow us on YouTube. We'll see you tomorrow.
Fight night, baby.